Most founders think outbound is only for closing customers. That's why they miss the real opportunity. Outbound is a system for generating high-value conversations that turn into pipeline fast, even when the buyer isn't the buyer in the traditional sense. We adapted our outbound GTM engine to target a completely different stakeholder group than the company originally hired us for. And within about 30 days, it generated roughly $500,000 worth of high-intent pipeline conversations. I'm Bob Shu, founder of RevSync. We build AI-powered GTM systems for B2B companies, CRM enrichment, predictive scoring, omnichannel outbound, and RevOps integration that makes outbound predictable instead of random. I've implemented these systems inside real companies, and in this video, I'm breaking down the exact 3-part outbound method that created the $500,000 in pipeline momentum without changing the product, the team, or the market. Here's the core idea that you need to install upfront. Outbound isn't a channel, it's a machine. And when the machine is built correctly, and when you tweak campaigns properly, you can aim it at any high leverage conversation that moves the business forward, not just customer acquisition. That's what happened right here. A client hired us to run traditional outbound. It was working. Meetings were stacking. The core pipeline engine had traction. Then the founder hit the next constraint, acceleration. They need to open doors with a different set of high leverage stakeholders to move faster and ask us if we could adapt the same outbound infra and iteration system for a complete new target list and offer. We hadn't productized it yet, and that motion was never done before. So it wasn't a service we really market, but the mechanism was obvious. If you can build predictable conversations with CROs, CFOs, or founders, you can build a conversation with any stakeholder group if you respect how they think and what they care about and what they screen for. So we built a parallel outbound motion that created a fresh lane of pipeline. Now, I'm going to give you the 3 pillars that made this work, because most teams try something like this and fail for one very simple reason. They keep the old sales outreach playbook and just change the recipient name. That's pillar 1. Build a separate ICP and separate message, even if it's the same company. The old way is saying outbound is outbound, so you take your normal sales sequence, swap in a new person, and pray. That's lazy. And high-level stakeholders can find that out instantly. When you target a different stakeholder group, you're not just changing a job title, you're changing the evaluation model itself. Different incentives, different risk profile, different attention span, and even different filters. So we did the same thing we do for any serious outbound system. We built an ICP with hard constraints. We filtered the list based on relevance, stage fit, and alignment signals, so we weren't spraying and praying to people who never really cared about this in the first place. That one step is where most outbound experiments kind of die, because founders confuse activity with precision. Once the ICP was defined, we moved into pillar number 2, omnichannel execution that matches where people actually pay attention. The old way is single channel dependency. Email-only teams wonder why replies are low, and LinkedIn-only teams wonder why conversations really stall. And then obviously call-only teams ignore everyone without a phone number. Omnichannel isn't a growth hack, it's just reality. Different people live in different places. So we ran a coordinated sequence across email and LinkedIn. Not chaotic, not random. Designed touch points with a clear narrative arc where each channel did a different job. Email carried clarity and structure, while LinkedIn carried visibility and familiarity. And the point wasn't to spam harder, the point was to increase surface area recognition, because high-level stakeholders don't respond when they see you once. They respond when they recognize you and quickly classify what you want. We also built the outreach to be adaptive. If someone was more active on LinkedIn, they got hit there. If someone was more inbox-driven, email did the heavy lifting. And that's how you stop relying on luck. Now, pillar 3 is the real separator. Rapid iteration based on signal, not ego. Most outbound fails because people treat copy kind of like art. They write a sequence, they fall in love with it, they refuse to change it, and then they blame the market. That's not GTM. That's self-sabotage. And we treat this motion like a lab. We tested angles, we tested openers, we tested framing, and we tested what specific angle created replies without triggering skepticism. We learned fast what landed and what got ignored. And that's why the results compounded. In the first month of running this motion, we booked around 20 high-intent meetings, then timing kicked in. During holiday season, response rates were slower, which is normal. But as soon as people come back online, the volume spiked hard. We booked 19 meetings in a single week with another 14 already booked the following week. The founder became so overloaded with the calls that they paused our weekly meetups entirely because physically he didn't have room to breathe. That's the moment you know you've built a real pipeline engine, not one that generates interest, but one that generates scheduling pressure and the outcome that matters. Here is this. The company had generated about $500,000 worth of pipeline from that stakeholder lane, real conversations, real momentum, real leverage. And yes, we also managed to open conversations with very high caliber names you recognize instantly. Top tier firms and top tier operators without needing to drop proprietary details or pretend we were in a niche we didn't really serve. The point is not who, the point is what. The mechanisms work when the system is built correctly. Here's the belief shift I want you to keep. Outbound is not sales tactic. Outbound is a controlled way to manufacture high leverage conversations on demand. Most teams use it for customer pipeline only. That's like buying a Ferrari and only driving it to the grocery store. If your GTM engine is solid, you can use it to create pipeline with partners, channels, strategic hires, distribution allies, any stakeholder group that can accelerate the business. But you can't do that if your infrastructure is duct taped, because this kind of motion requires three things that most teams don't really have. 1, clean data and real CRM foundation. 2, omnichannel sequencing that's actually integrated, not manually tracked in someone's notebook. Number 3, iterating a loop where messaging evolves weekly, not quarterly. And this is where the we'll do it in-house objection kind of shows up. Sure you can, but understand what you're actually signing up for. You'll need someone who can build the list properly. Then you'll need someone who can run the campaigns and maintain them properly and maintain even inbox infrastructure. And then someone who can run LinkedIn execution cleanly. You need someone then who can read replies like Signal and turn them into better messaging. You're not hiring an SDR, you're hiring a small GTM engineering unit. And the cost is delay, and that's the hidden killer. Because while you're figuring it out, your competitors are already building relationships, getting meetings, and locking in partnerships, and capturing market share. Speed is leverage. Now, if you want to take action from this video without overcomplicating it, do this. Pick one non-customer stakeholder lane that would materially accelerate your business if you had consistent conversations there. Build a list of 200 that actually fit. Then you write a sequence where every sentence is designed to answer one question. Why should I care right now? Then run an omnichannel and iterate every week based on replies, not assumptions. Now, if you do that, you'll feel the difference right away. But I'll be straight with you. Even though the steps outbound sound simple, execution is where teams really melt down. Because stitching together data, enrichment, sequencing, messaging, and CRM updates is not a content task. It's a system task. And if your team is already stretched, trying to build this while running pipeline will drag you on for months. If you want help installing outbound engine that will create predictable pipeline, not just random bursts, book a chat with me and my team, and we'll map out the exact system we'll deploy in your business. And if you want the next piece of the puzzle, it's how to know whether outbound is even the right lever for your business model. Like and subscribe to my channel where I drop practical insights and use cases like this every single week. Outbound isn't just how you get customers, it's how you buy speed. Now, if you want us to do a teardown of your GTM system to see where the gaps are, book a chat with me. My team will go through step by step how everything works and where your gaps are. Link is down below.